Clippers really just don't want Ty Lue to me. I mean, they're not willing to give him an extension on his contract. They're really not willing to make him a new contract. I mean, it just looks like they're really done with Ty Lue. And, I think a lot of people in the front office, Ty Lue might have rubbed some people the wrong way, apparently, because, like I said, it just looks like, looking at the reports that are out there, the Clippers are not really making any hedgeway in regards to trying to fight to keep Ty Lue. And there was even reports about, trying to get Frank Vogel on the Clippers until, the Phoenix Suns were able to get him. But the Clippers, I feel like they're just trying to look for another avenue, because I don't feel like people in the front office feel like Ty Lue might be the right man for the job. Now, don't get me wrong. Ty Lue has done some good things with the Clippers. I mean, he helped them, get to playing tournament playoffs and stuff like that without his 2-star players. They went further in the playoffs than people expected with, one of their star players in Paul George. They made it to a conference finals, which everybody know of. Kawhi played in those conference finals against the Phoenix Suns. The Clippers win the championship, or go to the championship at least. And, that's as far as they went. And the duo of Kawhi and PG just hasn't worked out up to this point. And it's not all Ty Lue's fault, because, health is everything. But at the same time, Ty Lue is one of those coaches where he could be stubborn. He can be big headed, and he can, not make the adjustments right away the way he should when he sees something wrong in the process of trying to win a game, or especially a playoff game. And he gets a lot of that momentum from Doc Rivers, one of his mentors. And I always said that, Ty Lue, the one championship he did win was great with LeBron James and Kyrie, but they were also down 3-1 in that series. And Kyrie and LeBron had to turn into God mode for them to come back and win that series, that finals series against the Golden State Warriors. And the Golden State Warriors, they might not even lost that series if they didn't lose Draymond for 1 or 2 games in the finals due to some of his crazy antics. So my point is, if it took all that with one of the greatest, if not arguably the GOAT, the greatest player of all time, and LeBron James, along with a dynamic superstar, young superstar in Kyrie Irving, to drop 35 to 40 points each game, being down 3-1 to come back and win it. If it wasn't for them doing all that, they wouldn't even have won that championship. And look at all the talent they had on the Cleveland Cavaliers. They had good movable pieces. They had a good bench. They had J.R. Smith. They had a lot of good pieces on that team. But Ty Lue, his coaching, a lot of times it doesn't really, equate to a lot of winning in regards to championships, because, like I said, he does a lot of generic things in his coaching, just like Doc Rivers does, which is the reason why you see Doc Rivers' team struggle and not, get over the hump. Because if you look at this year, the Sixers should have beat the Celtics, because they had them down and they had the game won in game 6. And then all of a sudden, Jason Tatum, the last 2 minutes, goes crazy, and Doc Rivers doesn't make no adjustments. And then it goes to game 7, the Celtics win and move on to the next series. Whereas Philly should have went on to the next series, possibly beat Miami, and then it would have been Embiid and the Joker in the finals, which would have been a whole lot better to look at, instead of Jimmy Butler and his basic ass and his generic basketball game that just looks boring and looks just horrible. And I don't even know, like I said, Caleb Martin and people like that on the team. Gabe Vincent helped carry Jimmy Butler all the way to the finals. He's really not that good of a player to me. He's a good number 2 guy, but definitely not number 1. But either way, that's another story for another day. But even still, Ty Lue, like I said, he's done some good things with the Clippers, but if it's not championship, it really doesn't matter. And, I think a lot of people feel the same way, because I know he hasn't had Kawhi and PG as much as he would like. But like I said, when he was with LeBron and Kyrie, it took everything in their power to win a championship. Even though the Golden State Warriors are really good, they still were missing Draymond Green, for a game or two. And, the Splash Brothers were still good. But at the same time, Cleveland was good, too, because they kept making it back to the finals every year. So it's not like they weren't a good team as well. But the adjustments, or the lack of adjustments, that Ty Lue made in that series, it really was just a waste, and it took a Herculean effort for two players to go out there and dominate to win. And when you look at the Clippers, look at them against the Dallas Mavericks a couple seasons when they played against Luka. It took everything they had to beat a Luka Doncic team with one young star player and a bunch of nobodies and a Rick Carlisle coach who got lucky and won the championship because he coached Dirk Nowitzki and a bunch of Hall of Fame role players behind Dirk Nowitzki to win a championship against a Miami Heat team that a lot of people thought should have won in 2011. But this is my point. It took so much to beat a Dallas Mavericks team with a young Luka Doncic, one guy. And a lot of people were really expecting this team to win a championship, including myself. But when I think about it, how are the Clippers going to win the championship, so easily, so dominant the way a lot of people thought they would when they were struggling against a Dallas Mavericks team and a younger Luka Doncic than what he is now. What I'm saying? Giving them a run, giving them the business, going 6-7 games in a series against one young star, and you got Kawhi and PG. That just tells you that Ty Lue's coaching really isn't all up to par and as good as a lot of people think it might be, or as much credit as the media gives him. The media likes Ty Lue. Stephen A. Smith likes Ty Lue, so he gives him a lot of credit and says a lot of good things towards Ty Lue, which Ty Lue is a pretty good coach. I'm not going to say he isn't, but he's really, without that championship, he might just be a little bit better than a Monty Williams, type head coach. Because like I said, when you're struggling against a team like a young Dallas team who has nobody on there at that time except a young Luka Doncic and a bunch of nobodies, there's no reason why the Clippers should have went 7 games with a team like that when you got Kawhi and PG, when you got guys who can dominate. The Clippers were down 0-2 in this series against the Dallas Mavericks. What was that, like a couple years ago or something like that, which was pretty much embarrassing. They lost the first 2 games at home, and it was like, hold on. I mean, you can't, you might can't stop Luka, but you still should be able to dominate and play better against a team that you're clearly better than. And that's the point. The Clippers are looking at things like that, whereas Ty Lue is supposed to be this good coach. Well, why can't he coach this team to play a lot better against a team like a Dallas Mavericks who really didn't have no business being on the floor with a championship level caliber team in the Clippers, who a lot of people thought would go and win the championship? You got to take care of business against teams that are not, as good as you. And that's just the way it needs to be. So my thing is, Ty Lue, like I said, I give him credit for him being a decent coach. But if they feel like they can go out there and get somebody better, that's fine. I just don't know who's really better out there for the Clippers to get. And at this point, I mean, Nick Nurse is sold up. Let's see. Frank Vogel is. I mean, I don't know what other coach out there is formidable enough that can give you championship, DNA, championship, type thought process, bringing it into the locker room other than Ty Lue. So they might have to just keep him, and they might have to just, do with what they can in keeping Ty Lue, because I don't really see any other coaches out there that will be willing to, that can bring them that championship DNA. You see what I'm saying? Because it takes a coach that has a lot of discipline, a lot of everything. It's just a lot to that, when you adding coaches. Adding players is hard enough, but coaches is even harder, because this is a guy who has to lead the men to a championship. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to find the right fit. And I don't really see any other coach out there. But I know the Clippers, I feel like they're definitely over Ty Lue. They just don't have any other hedgeway right now. But if they find any other hedgeway, if they find another coach they think that might be able to give them a little bit, difference, a little bit of a difference in the locker room and a different voice and things like that, they might go after that, which I don't blame them. But at the same time, whatever decision they make, I hope it's a good one, because it's not many coaches out there, like I said, and that market is very thin at this point. But either way, leave any comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think, as always, and we'll talk about it.